Hello and welcome to my Pinterest inspired board. By coincidence, I just see here that I have 49 pins. How perfect for 49 dragonflies. So if you want to see my board on Pinterest, you can find that linked below, as well as a playlist where I have already tackled quite a few of these pins. So for example, in that playlist, you will find this one here with the dragonfly, this one here with half of the face. We have these jeans tags. I think that might have been the last one I've done. These three I've done a really long time ago. And there's a video with her. I think that's about it. So we have these jeans tags twice actually. So today we are going to tackle this one here with these beautiful butterflies. There are no notes on this particular pin, so we have this photo to figure out what to do and how she did it. Lynn is her name. So I don't know quite how large these butterflies are. I also don't know what the material is that she used as a base. So my plan is to make one or two of these butterflies and then to put at least one or maybe both into my Excel art journal and make a page with that. So what I see here is, as I said, I don't know what the base is, but I think I will use canvas because it is sturdy enough. If you do not have canvas and you want to do this, I would just use a sturdier cardstock, but it could also just be a few layers of fabric. Then we see that she has added some bits of fabric on top. I also see some slow stitching there on both of them actually. We see some sewing around the edges, some messy sewing, love that. And we see some antennae made out of what looks like wire, which is something I've done in the past as well. But I also see a little paper clip with some a safety pin with some beads on them right where the head is. I don't know if you can see that. And I think that's it. It looks very doable, doesn't it? So I hope you join me and let's do this together. So I have this canvas here from the Dutch chain Action. It's 280 grams, A4 10 sheets. You can also find pads of canvas on Amazon. So as I mentioned, just use some kind of a cardstock or just use several layers of fabric if you don't want to use canvas. So I think I'll make two. So we need a butterfly shape. Are we just going to wing this? Literally, we're going to wing this. Not loving this bottom wing. This does not erase very well on canvas, but it's fine because we're covering up the canvas anyway. That is quite large, isn't it? Let me also make a smaller one because I'm not sure I'm loving this large butterfly. I think I like the smaller one better. So I'm going to cut this one out and then I can use that as a template to draw another one. Although maybe that's not a good idea because actually I think it might be nice to have them look different. So there's one. And then I'll trace this one on the back because I don't want to waste this part of the canvas. Okay, so here's our two butterflies. So I have my drawer of fabric scraps here. And since I might end up putting these on the same art journal page, I want the fabrics to kind of go together. So let's start off with maybe a neutral base, something like this actually would be good. And then maybe we have another more neutral base here. There's either this one, but I really want to waste these words because we'll be covering these up. How about this one? Yep, I think these two go together quite well. So let's start off with these as a base. And then, since this is for my art journal, I want to have pops of color. I would not just go for the neutral tones. For example, we have this yellow. That's an option. We also have this very bright yellow mixed with other colors. Maybe that would be very fun. We have these pink polka dots, which would go with the pink that we have here. Wow, this will be very, very colorful. Can I handle that? I'm not sure. Or we take this one. I really like this one actually. Okay, that's enough to choose from, I think. Otherwise, it'll be hard to make any decisions. So let's stick with a few options and see if we can make those work. So I'm going to just use some tacky glue and put it in this little bowl. Add some water. So then let's add the glue to our butterflies. And add them to our fabric. So next we're going to cut around our butterfly shape. I'm actually leaving the tiniest bit of a border because I want these looking a bit raggedy. So I will try to rough up those edges a little bit. So here we are. So now I just want to take my scissors and just go around the edges and try to fray them a little bit. So now I'd like to add, I think, some of this blue here. Not sure if I'm feeling the pink actually. So let's, how do we do this? Let's try to cut some, I don't know, part of a wing maybe. We'll just see what happens. I'm trying to cut like a part of the wing. Probably better to draw it out first. So this is a circle and it's too big and this is not going to work. Okay, we'll just chip away at it until it resembles more of a butterfly wing shape. Okay, I'm not sure I'm loving this at all. Okay, these I like, this I'm not loving. So maybe we'll also add two smaller ones here. I really like this turquoisey bit here rather than the blue and the yellow. So I now decided that I want to stay in this bluish turquoiseish range. So I found this piece here as well. Let's turn this around and trace the shape here because otherwise this is never going to work. A true perfectionist talking, right? So I'm cutting this smaller now, of course, because I do want to see some of that base. Oh, and of course, this needs to go on this one now, and it's too big. And also I'm going to fray this, but first I'll use that as a template to cut the other side. Yeah, that's gonna work, and I'll just fray these a little bit. So this is what I've decided on. And next I'm going to take these to my sewing machine and sew around the edges. This is of course optional. If you don't have a sewing machine, you could either try it with a marker or hand stitch, or just leave that part out. Okay, I'm not going to lie, this was a lot more challenging than I thought. You can maybe see it on the back a little bit more. So I went around each wing twice. Yeah, I had a few fights with my sewing machine, but I won in the end. Okay, so we have these now. These are quite sturdy, which is quite nice. I do like the idea of the safety pin in the middle. So I found 2 tiny safety pins. And I want to add a few of these beads. I think this color will go really well with our butterfly. I just never know how to do this, because I would love to have the pins on this part right here, because with this leg obviously we have to attach it to the butterfly, so there's not a lot of space here to add the beads, but I just don't know how to get the beads onto this part here. So if you have a trick for that, let me know. I just don't know how to do that. So I'll just add a couple of pins, or maybe I can manage 3 of these, not pins, beads. Like that, and then pin this through. I don't like this. No, this is not working. Not liking how this is looking. This pin is quite flimsy. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. Let's try it with these. These are a lot more sturdy and they're quite a bit bigger. But we could use that to our advantage and maybe have this top part here look like the head of the butterfly. So these are by Tim Holtz Ideology, and they're called trinket pins. So let's try adding some beads onto this one. Like that. Yeah, that works. Yeah, so if you use canvas as your base, it's quite difficult to put a pin through it, turns out. So let's do the same thing for the second one. So we have these so far, and now we need some antennae. So now I have 2 kinds of thin wire. This one is very light and shiny, and this one is matte and dark. I like this dark one. So the plan is to take one of these pliers, and then we can just roll the end. You can take anything round, really. They don't have to be these pliers. Maybe you have like a wooden skewer or something like that. I just want to make a nice round end. Like that. And then let's cut this off. We'll do the same thing on the other side. But we need to figure out how long we want this to be. And I think it works best if you actually cross this, because then it will look more natural. We can turn this outward. Yeah, like this. And then we can cut this one down and roll the end as well. And we have antennae. How cool! So I'll make another one for the other butterfly. So then I'm going to take my glue gun to attach these on the back. I so rarely use my glue gun because I have burned myself a couple of times. I don't have the best skills with the glue gun, let's just say that. Okay, antennae are on, all fingers are intact. It's a good day, I would say. I don't feel the need to add any hand stitching or anything like that. I'm happy with the way these came out. So now let's find a page in our XL art journal that we can add these to. Let me zoom you out a little bit. Okay, let's find a page in here. So I will also link my XL art journal playlist for you, where you can also see how I made this cover. Again, this cover image is a freebie. You can find that linked under all the videos in the playlist. You see we already have butterflies here as a theme. We have one in front here. We have it on the inside, on the fabric of the cover. We made this page together. And then I also have another butterfly. Oh, there's the other side of that page, but I also have a big one here in my second signature. So I want to keep that an ongoing theme. Let's find a page to work on. Also in the playlist is a video where I made these jelly plate prints. There's another one here, which is gorgeous because it has this beautiful gold. But for now, I think I'm going to take this page here, which is fairly sturdy. So I'm going to take it out. So I haven't sewn my signatures in yet, precisely for occasions like this, where I can just easily take a page out. But I know myself, and I know the day will come where I'm like, I need this to be bound because I want to work in a journal and I don't want to work on loose pages. So let's just check. Size-wise, I think this works really well. I don't know yet how I want to place these. Maybe facing each other. Maybe something like that. But of course we need to do something with the background here. So I think first I want to add a few layers of paper scraps. So I'll just take some scraps here from my drawer of neutral paper scraps. And I'm going to use my trusty Liquitex matte gel for this. And I'm also going to do my best not to overthink this. Oh, look at this. This is really cool texture. Maybe for another project. So once this is dry, I'm going to take some white gesso and apply that just in some areas. I'm using this silicone brush. You can use anything. Whoops. To apply your gesso, or you can just throw it all over your page. Again, I'm trying not to overthink this. Maybe let's put it on our brush. Yeah, that's better. By the way, these two pieces here with the script is very special because this is from the memory book that I made for my brother's birthday. And it's a scan of one of his school notebooks where he learned how to write. I love using this. It's so nice to have this in my own artwork. So mostly I'm adding this to the edges of the papers. It's a little bit more. I guess I'm trying to make the edges blend in a little bit more, and we will be adding more media on top as well. So once this layer is dry, I want to use this stencil. It's one of my favorite ones. It's by Dylusions and Diane Reevely. It's called Coins Large DYS 78012. And I'm going to use my Distress Spray Stain Lost Shadow. This is a very, very light gray. That will be my first layer. I don't think we'll see the circles at all, actually. Yeah, not really. They're more like blotches. That's okay. Let's put this to the side for a second and take another one of our art journal pages and put the reverse image here, which I'm assuming is going to be a lot better. Let's use a kitchen towel. Okay, we'll let this dry. That will be a page for another day. What do we do with this? I'm not really loving these splotches, so let's add some water. Let that run a little bit. It looks totally weird at the moment. Maybe we'll take a little bit of it off. And then it will get lighter anyway once we dry it. So I'm not worried. I could just take the whole thing off since I have the matte gel underneath. But let's just dry this now. So once it's dry, we have this, and I'm actually quite happy with that. I also want some yellow as a contrast to the blue that we have here. I'm going to use my Distress Oxide Mustard Seed. Obviously, you could use acrylic paint, you could use watercolor. You don't need distress inks or oxides to do this. Let's add some water. And then I'll just take a paintbrush. Actually, first I need to know where my butterflies are going to go. So as I said, I think they'll be approximately like that. So I want the yellow to go, whoops, okay, I guess it's going here. But I mostly want it to go underneath the butterflies so that we have a really nice contrast. And then we could, of course, since we have this here already, just add some splatters to make it look a little more intentional. So once that is dry, I think I also want to add a little bit of gold. This is by iSink, Seth Apter, and it's called Gold Mine. Let me just add it in the middle here. And then maybe add some around here as well. So this is dry, and I want to add a little bit more contrast, and I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this is not sewn in my journal yet, and I can still take this to my sewing machine, and I think it would look pretty cool if I stitch a couple of circles around these areas here where our butterflies are going to go. Now, if you want to do something like this and your journal is bound, you just make a separate page and then glue the whole page into your journal, which would have the advantage that you don't have to sew through your page like I will have to do now, but you will cover up the back of the sewing if that's what you wish. So here's my stitched circles. Let's see what they look like with our butterflies. Yes, I like it. So let's glue down those butterflies. So final touches, I think it needs some more darker splatters. And finally, I want to include a sentiment, and I'll choose this one, which says radiate love. Because these butterflies look like they're radiating something positive, so I guess it's love. And I think this needs to go somewhere here. How about right here? So there's our finished mixed media art journal page with very dimensional and fun butterflies. add it back into our art journal. So let me know if you want to see more of these kind of pages. I hope you have fun making your own butterflies. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!